The next thing that we're going to do in our player script is add the code that's going to allow us to check what's happening on the tile on which we land. So let's go ahead and open that player script back up, and we're going to look inside this check my tile method. So if you're up here, you can go ahead and scroll down, and what we're going to be working in is the inside of this switch statement. So a switch statement you can think of a lot like an if statement, where we're going to be switching which set of code we work with based on the value of our tile type variable. So this tile type variable is getting its value from a method in our game manager. And all you need to know about this method is that it's going to return a number, either 1, 2, 3, or 4, based on the tile that we land on. So we need to set up what our code needs to do based on whether or not we land on a specific type of tile. So our first object here, case 1, is going to be if we were to land on a draw space or a tile that's going to allow us to draw a card. So what we're going to do is set our current effect, which up here you'll see current effect is a variable that is a type of dice effect. Dice effect being what's going to control whether or not our dice rolls are slowed or sped up. So if we land on a draw space, we do not have an effect. So we say current effect equals dice underscore effect dot none. And that's going to make it so that we don't have our dice roll changed if we land on a dice roll or a draw card space. And then we need to tell the deck manager script, which is a script we haven't touched yet. We need to tell that to draw a card. So we're going to say deck manager dot instance dot draw card, open and close parentheses and semicolon. Next up in case 2, this is the case where we would be landing on a slow space. We're going to just say current effect equals dice effect dot slow. In case 3, that is going to be our speed case. So we're going to say current effect equals dice effect dot speed. So that's going to be where our dice roll is increased by 1.5 times. And then, of course, slow is when it's cut in half. Case 4 is going to be the case where we land on the winning space. So we're going to say game manager dot instance dot win game, open and close parentheses and the semicolon. And then the default case is going to be a case where none of these 4 values are returned. So that shouldn't happen. That would only happen if something were to go wrong. But we do want to be able to account for a situation where we get a value we're not expecting. So in that case, we're just going to say nothing happens. You don't get a card effect. You don't draw a card. Everything is normal. So we're going to say current effect equals dice effect dot none. I believe the other situation where default comes up is I think if we land on an empty tile, it returns a 0. So we would actually also get the default case if we get a 0, which would be our no effect tile. Once we've got all that done, go ahead and save your script. And then in the next step, we'll actually finally set up our game manager to allow us to move between each space.